Good morning, one and all. Today, I want to discuss about precisional angular motion. To discuss about this precisional angular motion, I want to take the help of the given diagram, which is there in our PPT. That is, for example, if we see the PPT diagram 14.1, let us consider a disk which is rotating in anti-clockwise direction when viewed from the front. The viewing direction is also given. So whenever we observe the disk in this direction, now this disk is rotating like this in anti-clockwise direction with an angular velocity omega. So here consider a disk as shown in the figure revolving or spinning about an axis OX. If I see this axis technically we call it as axis of spin. Axis of spin. So about this axis of spin, this disk is rotating in anti-clockwise direction with an angular velocity omega. And after a short interval of time delta t, now the axis of spin has changed its direction from OX to OX dash like this. It means this axis of spin also, it is also rotating through an angle delta theta. So then its angular velocity of the disk, it has been slightly changed from omega to omega plus delta omega like this here. It means that at initial position, the angular disk, the disk angular velocity, it is the omega. After a short interval of time delta t, the angular velocity of the disk has been increased from omega to omega plus delta omega. Now, if I represent all this in a vector diagram as shown in figure B like this is the first vector. This vector diagram, we can represent it by using the right hand screw rule. It means right hand screw rule means I have to take my right hand and I have to show my fingers in the direction the disk is rotating. Then what is the direction of my thumb that indicates the vector direction here? For example, if I see, you see, this is my finger and this is my hand, you see. Now this disk is rotating in anti-clockwise direction like this. It means I have to fold my fingers like this. Then the thumb direction will be like this. It means in this direction, the vector will be like this, as shown in the figure B. It means I have to draw the vector diagram like this. Now the vector OX is like this and its angular velocity omega. And after a short interval of time delta t over an angle delta theta, the axis of spin has changed its direction from OX to OX dash like this. That is omega plus delta omega angular velocity. This is the angular vector diagram. And from this xx dash is the resultant. Xx dash, the vector xx dash represents the change in angular velocity with respect to time delta t. So this is the initial angular velocity omega. Later, after a short interval of time delta t, this is the angular velocity of the disk omega plus delta omega. Now xx dash, that is omega plus delta omega minus omega, which this vector represents the change in angular velocity with respect to time delta t. Now, this angular velocity, change in angular velocity xx dash, this can be resolved into two components. One is along the line OX, that is XR, and another component that is perpendicular to OX, that is X dash R. So these two components, I have to determine these two components. Now, let me explain how to determine these two components. You see, in this PPT, this is a component. You see, again, just to you observe this diagram, component of angular acceleration in the direction of OX. This is OX. component of angular acceleration in the direction of OX is, this is XR. That is represented by, this is represented by alpha t, because it is the angular acceleration that is denoted by alpha tangential, we are taking it as alpha t, which is known as component of angular acceleration in the direction of OX, is equal to, this is XR by delta t. This XR is equal to OR minus OX by delta t. That is equal to OR means this total diagram. If you assume this is a right angle triangle, from this right angle triangle, I can get OR is equal to OX dash cos delta theta minus OX by delta theta. So from this OX dash, that value I substitute, that is omega plus delta omega cos delta theta minus omega by delta t. That is equal to, if I multiply omega cos delta theta plus delta omega cos delta theta minus omega by delta t. Now, as per the trigonometric rules, if the theta is very, very small, I can substitute cos theta is equal to 1. So here delta theta, it is very, very small. So I can substitute cos delta theta is equal to 1. Now I'll get alpha t is equal to omega plus delta omega. It means cos delta theta, I substitute 1 minus omega by delta t. Now omega gets cancelled, that is delta omega by delta t, that is alpha t. Alpha t means it is a component of angular acceleration in the direction of OX. Next, if I apply the limit when delta t tends to 0, then alpha t becomes like this, that is limit delta t tends to 0, delta omega by delta t, that is equal to d omega by dt. Alpha t is equal to d omega by dt. And uh, uh, if I find out the another component, that is alpha c, which is perpendicular to the line OX. This we call it as component of angular acceleration in the direction perpendicular to OX, that is x dash or x dash. That is denoted by alpha c is equal to rx dash by delta t. That is equal to here rx dash from this right angle triangle, that is OX dash sine delta theta by delta t. So I substitute here OX dash is equal to omega plus delta omega, and I multiplied here like this. Now, whenever delta theta, the angle is very, very small, if I substitute sine delta theta is equal to delta theta, then I'll get alpha c is equal to omega delta theta plus delta omega into delta theta by delta t. And delta omega is a small value and delta theta also very small value. So the multiplication of these two will get very, very small value, so that I can neglect it. Whenever neglecting, then I will get alpha c is equal to omega into delta theta by delta t. If I apply the limit, then limit delta t tends to 0, then alpha c is equal to limit delta t tends to 0, omega delta theta by delta t, that is equal to omega d theta by dt. This d theta by dt is denoted by omega p. So from this, alpha c is equal to omega p. Now I got two accelerations, two components. One component that is along the direction of OX, that is alpha t is equal to d omega by dt. And another component which is perpendicular to the line OX, that is alpha c is equal to omega p. Now the total angular acceleration of the disk is equal to the vector sum of alpha t and alpha c. From that, if I substitute, I will get that is d omega by dt plus omega into omega p. So from this relation, I find out the total angular acceleration of the disk. Initially, I have taken a disk which is rotating in an anti-clockwise direction with an angular velocity omega when viewed from the front as shown in the figure. And for that disk, after a short interval of time delta t, it has changed its direction to OX dash. So for that disk, because of changing of angular velocity, there is an angular acceleration. So that total angular acceleration we determine, that is equal to d omega by dt plus omega into omega p. This is the formula. So if I observe the next slide, then what I will conclude is, so from this diagram, you see this is the disk. Disk is rotating with an angular velocity omega. So whenever a component is rotating, definitely it has to rotate about an axis which is perpendicular to the plane of that disk, or whatever it is, the rotating component. It means here the disk is rotating with an angular velocity omega about an axis OX. This axis we call it as axis of spin, and this has an angular velocity omega. Later, this axis of spin also rotating. This axis of spin also rotating. It means another rotating component we are going to see here. It means whenever a component is rotating, definitely it should have another angular velocity. Here this axis of spin also rotating with an angular velocity omega p. That we call it as angular velocity of precession. Angular velocity of precession. And definitely whenever this axis of spin is rotating, then we have to observe that it has to rotate about an axis which is perpendicular to the plane. That axis we call it as a axis of precession. Here we are going to conclude 2 points. Here we have two components which are rotating. Number one, disk is rotating, its angular velocity omega. It is rotating about an axis. That axis we call it as axis of spin. And another component also rotating, that is axis of spin. The axis of spin also rotating, that is with an angular velocity omega p, that we call it as angular velocity of precession. And that axis of spin is rotating about an axis which is perpendicular to the plane of rotation. That perpendicular axis we call it as axis of precession. Axis of precession. So these are the things we will come to know about this topic. Okay. Thank you very much.